June 6, 1944, D-Day. Allied forces stormed Normandy, and within months they broke out of France. By September, the Allies were advancing faster than anyone dreamed. The German army was in retreat, Paris had been liberated, and many believed the war could be over by Christmas. Then came one of the boldest and most disastrous plans of World War II. Operation Market Garden. The plan's architect was British Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery. His idea was ambitious. Drop tens of thousands of airborne troops into the Netherlands to seize a chain of vital bridges, then send British 30 Corps racing up a single road to cross the Rhine. If it worked, the Allies would bypass the heavily fortified Siegfried Line, strike into Germany's industrial heartland, and perhaps end the war in 1944. The operation was split into two parts: Market, the airborne assault, and Garden, the ground advance. It would become the largest airborne operation in history, involving over 35,000 paratroopers and glider troops from the U.S. 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions, the British 1st Airborne Division, and the Polish 1st Parachute Brigade. Hundreds of gliders carried not only troops but jeeps, artillery, and even small tanks. Dutch underground resistance aided with maps, sabotage, and local intelligence, though much of their work was hampered by German countermeasures. On September 17, 1944, the skies over Holland filled with Allied planes. Thousands of paratroopers jumped behind enemy lines while civilians cheered, waving flags and offering flowers, convinced liberation had arrived. The Americans captured bridges at Eindhoven, Nijmegen, and Grave after bitter fighting. But further north, at Arnhem, disaster awaited. Allied intelligence had badly underestimated German strength. Unknown to Montgomery, two battle-hardened SS Panzer divisions were regrouping near Arnhem. Instead of light resistance, British paratroopers landed almost on top of tanks and experienced troops. Radios failed, supply drops landed miles off target, and bad weather delayed reinforcements. Communication between airborne units and ground forces collapsed. Despite the odds, British paratroopers fought with astonishing bravery. For 9 brutal days, they held Arnhem's bridge and surrounding streets, battling house by house. Cut off, outgunned, and without resupply, they endured relentless artillery and tank fire. Of the more than 10,000 Allied troops at Arnhem, only about 2,900 escaped across the Rhine under cover of night. The rest were killed, wounded, or captured. In total, Allied casualties for Market Garden exceeded 17,000 men. The Germans, though bloodied, held the crucial Rhine crossings. Arnhem was lost, and with it, Montgomery's vision of ending the war by Christmas. The consequences were severe. Dutch civilians who had welcomed the Allies with open arms now faced brutal German reprisals. The failure left the Netherlands under German occupation through the winter of 1944-45. That winter became infamous as the Hunger Winter, when thousands of Dutch civilians starved while resistance fighters faced mass executions. A tragedy still remembered today, a stark reminder of the human cost of war and the resilience of the Dutch people. Reaction among Allied commanders was mixed. Eisenhower admitted later that Market Garden had been too risky. Patton sneered that if the fuel and supplies had been given to him, he would have marched straight into Germany instead. But we will never know. And he may have been right. Yet the courage of the men who fought at Arnhem was unquestionable. 5 British soldiers were awarded the Victoria Cross, the highest military honor, for their extraordinary bravery during the battle. Winston Churchill would honor them with the words, "Not in vain." Arnhem itself would not be liberated until April 1945, 7 months later. Operation Market Garden remains one of the war's most studied battles. It was daring, imaginative, and incredibly costly, a haunting reminder of how ambition, flawed intelligence, and logistical overreach can turn victory into disaster. But sometimes doing the unthinkable, or trusting in creativity, is the only way to achieve victory. Share, and subscribe for more history.